Welcome back. James Hill is here now with national news. Let's send it over to him at the desk.
Thanks, Brittany. In national news this week, the United States Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel recommended drastic cuts in military spending this coming budget. The cuts, which amount to billions of dollars, will lower the American military forces to their lowest levels since before World War II. The plan, which asks for $522 billion, is still larger, however, than the defense budgets of China, Russia, and Britain combined. However, cuts are widespread through both forces and weapons programs. The largest cut is the reduction of the Army itself, down from the current level of 520,000 to anywhere between 440,000 and 450,000 active members. Other cuts include a fleet of A-10 Warthogs being replaced by the F-35 and the retirement of various Army and Navy helicopters. It appears that it will be a lengthy battle for the Defense Department to get the cuts it wants. Many members of Congress have already come out in opposition of the plan, while the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Martin Dempsey, has called the cuts to the active troops too low. The United States 2015 fiscal year begins October 1st. And NASA's planet-hunting Kepler telescope has confirmed the existence of 715 new planets. That discovery boosts the number of planets outside our solar system to nearly 1,700. That's almost double a number originally thought to exist. Kepler was a program launched in 2009 to detect planets with a $600 million price tag, so finding 715 planets almost makes up. Some statistics of that are the percentage of planets comparable to Earth's size rose 400% from the discovery. Also, 4 of the new planets are roughly twice the size of Earth. Those 4 planets lie in what's called the habitable zone, where water can exist in liquid form, which NASA says can give the possibility for life. And scientists have officially determined that a tiny zircon crystal found on a sheep farm is the oldest piece of Earth ever discovered. The crystal, which was found in Western Australia, dates back 4.4 billion years ago. Now, to figure something like that out, they use several different methods. The first, I want to make sure I get this right, it's a widely accepted method based on determining the radioactive decay of uranium to lead in a mineral sample. Okay, but some scientists hypothesize that might be false. So the backup method of atom probe tomography, which identifies individual atoms of lead crystals and determines their mass, actually, thank God, confirmed that 4.4 billion year age. Now, what does all that science mean? It tells us that Earth formed 4.5 billion years ago, and it actually could have sustained microbial life from the near beginning. That's all we have from national news. Let's send it over back to Brittany and Ryan at the couch.
Mr. Pittsburgh is back again, this time with a look at one of the most iconic yet forgot about buildings in the city.
James Hill takes us behind the weather beacon that is the Gulf Tower.
For nearly 100 years, Americans purchased their gas at Gulf Oil gas stations. For years, the corporate headquarters of Gulf Oil were located at the Gulf Building in downtown Pittsburgh. Construction began on this historic landmark in 1930 on the site of what was once the first oil refinery in America. Originally known as the Gulf Building, it became the Gulf Tower after the decline of Gulf Oil in the 1980s. However, what truly makes the building special is the weather beacon atop it, 500 feet up. And the weather beacon isn't the only thing atop the Gulf Tower. I made my way 39 stories up, about 492 feet above Grant Street, where the Gulf Tower maintenance man Denny has been showing me some of the secrets that help the Gulf Tower weather beacon light up the Pittsburgh skyline. The lobby of the Gulf Tower admits the elegance of a time long gone by. Its Art Deco style recalls the architecture of the early 20th century. It also recalls the origins of the weather beacon. Located below the large clock above the front entrance are some of the original beacon's features. These small lights would tell the lobby attendant which selection he chose after he determined the weather for the day. Now Chief Electrical Engineer Denny King explains that it's all digital.
Well, it used to just tell whether it was raining or clear, dropping temperatures or rising, but now it has a smart sensor and a computer, and it tells you temperature, wind, speed, humidity, and one other thing, precipitation, yes.
Then it was time to see the beacon. We went down a staircase, then onto the service elevator. From there, we slowly rose up the interior of what was once Pittsburgh's tallest building until the construction of the U.S. Steel Tower in 1970. From the 38th floor, it was up the stairs to the 39th. Once there, the technology advances of the beacon became clear. Its one touchpad controlled all of the beacon's features, and the beacon is actually constantly measuring Pittsburgh's ever-changing weather from a weather sensor mounted outside of the building. After that, Denny turned the beacon on, and we got a rare midday view of the beacon's energy-efficient LED lights in action. 185 lights now replace the originals. Then, as he activated a fan favorite, the Penguin score beam, Denny explained that these new energy-efficient lights only use 60 watts of electricity compared to the 400 watts of the original lights, which were removed in the 70s due to the energy crisis. The weather beacon also comes with a once-in-a-lifetime view. After a look at the rolling western Pennsylvania hills 500 feet up, it was back down to the controlled chaos of Grant Street, and soon the sun was setting on the city, and the Gulf Tower weather beacon was back on duty. Its top 3 levels will always predict the temperature, with its colors changes from hues of blue to red to display cold to hot. The next 3 levels down tell precipitation, humidity, and wind speed. The Gulf Tower weather beacon is truly another Pittsburgh landmark that once again can be seen lighting up the Pittsburgh skyline for miles. Reporting for UView Television, I'm James Hill.
And now Mr. Pittsburgh joins us again. I didn't know all the lights represented different things.
Well, yeah, the new system, it's really complicated. The original system, it was just solid colors. You know, red, I think it was steady red meant nothing, steady blue meant nothing but cold. Blinking red and blue meant like those temperatures, but there was a chance of precipitation. But now, you know, the advances in technology, we have wind speed, humidity, all sorts of things that make up all the different levels of the Gulf Tower.
Now, you mentioned how energy efficient those light bulbs were. What kind of difference did it make when they installed those new
Ryan,
ones?
the difference is actually astronomical. The original lights, which were installed in the late 30s, actually cost the equivalent of 35 homes to power.
Wow.
So it took 35 homes to make a light blink atop a building. And so when the Gulf Oil went out of business and the beacon got shut down in the 70s, the building was just illuminated by just regular old floodlights that made it glow yellow. And those were about 400 watts per unit. These new energy efficient lights, they're only 60 per unit. So like the savings is actually in the millions. And you know, it's part of part of Pittsburgh's whole green identity that the Gulf Tower, one of the beacons of the city, would be LED energy efficient like it is.
Now, just briefly, can you remind us what each step means?
Yeah.
What they all represent?
There's 6, of course, in the pyramid. Now, the first 3, that's really the most important. That's the one you need to look at. It's your temperature. It'll go through, you know, the shades of blue to red to represent how hot to cold it is. You know, really light blue, I think, is polar vortex. Really red is like volcano or something. But it basically falls in between that. Now, the next level down is wind speed. Then you have your humidity, and then you have your air quality alert level. And those are shades of magenta. Like I said, I think it's the terrorist alert level, something like that, too.
Very cool. Well, coming up after the break, Johnny Frybold is going to be here with your weekly weather report.
And Zach Aaron with sports. Don't go away. We will be right back.